What if I told you that one simple position, no machines, no weights, no complicated routines, could help rebuild leg strength, improve posture, increase energy, and even support your vitality? It may sound exaggerated, maybe even unrealistic, but this method has existed for centuries, quietly practiced across generations. Most people over 50 have never been introduced to it. It's called the horse stance. At first glance, it doesn't look like much. You're not running, jumping, or lifting anything. You're simply holding a grounded, seated position. But appearances can be deceiving. Beneath that stillness, your body is working intensely. Muscles engage. Joints stabilize. Your mind sharpens. And here's the surprising part. It can take as little as 2 minutes a day. No gym, no equipment. Impact on aging knees or sensitive hips. You can practice it in your living room, beside your bed, even while waiting for your morning coffee. Yet the benefits reach far beyond what most people expect from something so deceptively simple. Because the horse stance doesn't just train muscles. It trains stability, balance, circulation, mental endurance, and the deep structural strength that protects you as you age. In this video, we'll break down exactly why this ancient posture is so powerful, how it works, and how you can safely start using it today. Stay with me, especially for benefit number 7. It's rarely discussed, yet incredibly important for anyone over 50. Before we begin, take a moment to drop your name and where you're watching from in the comments. It's always inspiring to see how far this community reaches. Now, let's start where real strength truly begins, from the ground up. After 50, leg strength is no longer about appearance. It becomes about independence. It's about rising from a chair without hesitation, climbing stairs without bracing for discomfort, walking with confidence instead of caution. This is where the horse stance quietly becomes a game changer. When you lower into the position, your lower body activates almost instantly. Your quadriceps engage to support your weight. Your glutes stabilize your hips. Your hamstrings and calves assist in maintaining control. And unlike fast, repetitive movements, these muscles remain engaged the entire time you hold the stance. There's no pounding, no jerking, no sudden strain, just steady, controlled tension. That tension is precisely what stimulates strength development. Your muscles are challenged without the joint stress often caused by high-impact workouts. For aging bodies, this distinction matters enormously. You're building strength while minimizing wear and tear. Gentle on the joints, demanding on the muscles. An ideal combination. But the deeper value is something many people overlook. Stronger legs directly support a more independent life. From carrying groceries to maintaining balance on uneven ground, your lower body acts as your foundation of mobility and safety. Even a brief daily hold, just 2 minutes, can begin restoring strength that may have gradually faded without you noticing. Because aging gracefully doesn't require doing more. It requires doing smarter. Benefit 2, core strength that protects, not just impresses. When people hear core strength, they often imagine sculpted abs and fitness magazine covers. But after 50, the role of your core shifts from cosmetic to critical. Your core is your stabilizing center. It protects your spine, supports posture, controls movement, reduces unnecessary strain on your back. And the horse stance activates it in a remarkably effective way. Holding the stance requires your torso to remain upright and steady. You're not leaning forward, not collapsing through the chest, not shifting side to side. That stillness forces your deep abdominal muscles, oblique and lower back stabilizers to engage continuously, quietly, subtly, powerfully. This isn't explosive strength. It's endurance-based stability, the kind of strength that keeps you upright throughout the day. the kind that reduces lower back pressure, the kind that makes everyday movements, turning, reaching, standing, feel smoother and less taxing. Unlike crunches that may strain the neck, or planks that stress the shoulders, the horse stance develops core resilience while maintaining a natural, aligned posture. You're teaching your body how to hold itself well, and that translates directly into daily life. Because after 50, core strength isn't about looking strong. It's about staying strong. Benefit 3. Reclaiming balance and body awareness. One of the quietest changes that comes with aging is the gradual decline of balance. It doesn't happen overnight. It creeps in subtly. A missed step, a slight wobble, a cautious reach for support, often unnoticed until it isn't. The horse stance directly challenges and retrains this system. When you hold a position, your body must remain centered over your feet. Small, stabilizing muscles activate, but even more importantly, your brain re-engages a process known as proprioception, your internal sense of where your body is in space. Think of it as recalibrating your internal balance mechanism. With consistent practice, this improves coordination, stability, and confidence in movement. Walking feels steadier. Transitions feel smoother. Fear of falling begins to loosen its grip. And unlike balance drills that may feel intimidating, this training happens while both feet remain grounded, stable, secure, controlled, because falls are rarely random events. They're often preceded by declining stability. And this simple stance helps you strengthen that stability before problems escalate. Benefit 4. Supporting pelvic health and circulation. Let's address something rarely discussed in traditional fitness conversations. Pelvic health after 50 circulation, muscle tone, and vascular function in the pelvic region become increasingly important. Yet most exercise routines neglect these deep stabilizing muscles entirely. The horse stance changes that by engaging the hips, inner thighs, and lower abdominal region. The posture stimulates blood flow and activates muscles connected to pelvic stability and function. For men, improved circulation and muscular engagement can support performance and control. For women, strengthening the pelvic floor contributes to bladder support, stability, and overall comfort. But beyond specific outcomes, there is a broader benefit, a renewed sense of connection with your body, vitality, awareness, confidence. And because this posture also encourages slow, regulated breathing, it helps reduce stress hormones that often interfere with energy, sleep, and mood. The result is not just physical, it's systemic. Benefit 5. Training the mind through stillness. Most exercises train movement. The horse stance trains presence. Within seconds of holding the position, your body begins sending signals of discomfort. Muscles tremble. Thoughts wander. The urge to quit appears. And this is where the deeper training begins. Staying in the stance, breathing calmly, resisting the impulse to stop, builds mental resilience. You're practicing how to remain steady under controlled stress. This carries far beyond the exercise itself. Stressful situations, frustration, fatigue. Your response becomes calmer, more grounded, less reactive. Scientific research continues to show that slow, focused, muscular engagement combined with breath regulation helps lower cortisol, improve emotional regulation, and strengthen mental endurance. In other words, you're not just strengthening your body, you're strengthening your capacity to handle life. Benefit 6. Strengthening joints without impact. Joint discomfort often discourages people from staying active as they age. Knees, hips, and ankles can become sensitive to repetitive stress and high-impact exercise. The horse stance offers a different pathway. Through isometric loading, strength development without movement, tendons and ligaments are gently conditioned. The joints experience supportive tension rather than grinding repetition. Over time, this can improve joint stability, reduce stiffness, and enhance overall structural support. It's like reinforcing the internal framework that keeps your movements safe and controlled, especially valuable for those who fear injury but still want to maintain strength. Benefit 7. Unlocking the hips. Hip mobility plays a central role in how freely and comfortably you move. Yet, it is one of the first areas to tighten with age. The horse stance naturally encourages the hips to open, not through aggressive stretching, but through gradual, controlled positioning. Even a shallow version of the stance begins loosening the surrounding muscles and connective tissue. As mobility improves, posture often follows. Balance improves. Lower back strain may decrease because tight hips rarely stay isolated. They influence the entire body, and restoring even modest mobility can create noticeable changes in how you feel throughout the day. Benefit 8. Hormonal and nervous system. Affects holding the horse stance introduces a form of mild, controlled stress, the beneficial kind that signals adaptation rather than overload. This can help regulate stress hormones, support circulation, and promote the release of mood-supporting neurochemicals like endorphins. Combined with steady breathing, the stance also calms the nervous system, encouraging focus, clarity, and a grounded sense of control. Many people report improved energy, better mood stability, and a subtle return of physical confidence, not from intensity, but from consistency. Benefit 9. Total body activation. Though the horse stance appears static, your entire body participates. Legs support weight. Core stabilizes. Back maintains posture. Shoulders remain aligned. It becomes a full body engagement, hidden inside stillness. Efficient, quiet, surprisingly demanding, and particularly suited for individuals who want strength development without repetitive strain. Benefit 10. Simplicity that builds habits. Perhaps the greatest strength of the horse stance is its accessibility. No equipment, no travel, no elaborate preparation. Just your body and a small pocket of time. And because it is so simple, it is far more likely to become something you actually practice daily, which is ultimately what determines results. How to perform the horse stance safely begins with understanding proper positioning. How to perform the horse stance safely begins with understanding proper positioning. While the exercise is simple, alignment is what transforms it from just standing into a powerful strengthening posture. Start by standing upright with your feet together and your spine tall. Let your shoulders relax naturally, your chin level, and your gaze forward. From here, slowly step your feet outward until they are wider than shoulder width. The exact distance does not need to be perfect. Comfort and control matter more than extremes. Next, turn your toes slightly outward, not excessively, just enough to allow your knees to track comfortably in the same direction as your feet. This small adjustment protects the joints and keeps tension distributed correctly. Now comes the key movement. Gently bend your knees and lower your hips, as if sitting onto an invisible stool. Move slowly. Avoid dropping down abruptly. The descent should feel controlled and deliberate, like easing into a chair. Your thighs do not need to reach parallel with the floor, especially in the beginning. A shallow stance is not a weaker version. It is a smart version. Depth can increase gradually as strength and mobility improve. As you settle into position, check your posture. Your back remains straight, not rigid, but elongated. Your chest stays lifted, not collapsed. Your knees track over your toes, not caving inward. Your weight distributes evenly across both feet. Imagine a head gently rising upward while your hips sink downward. This creates a feeling of length through the spine rather than compression. Once stable, bring your attention to your breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose. Exhale gently through your mouth. Steady breathing prevents unnecessary tension in the neck and shoulders. It also helps your nervous system remain calm while your muscles work. Hold the position for 20 to 30 seconds to start. That may not sound like much until you try it. As the seconds pass, you may notice your legs begin to tremble slightly. This is normal. Your muscles are activating and adapting. Shaking is not weakness. It is effort meeting challenge. When you feel ready, slowly rise back to standing. Avoid straightening your knees abruptly. Let the movement be smooth and controlled. Rest briefly, then repeat if comfortable. Over time, you can extend your hold toward 1 to 2 minutes. Progression should feel gradual, never forced, because sustainable improvement is built through patience, not punishment. Common mistakes to avoid? Like any posture-based exercise, small errors can reduce effectiveness or create unnecessary strain. Fortunately, these are easy to correct once you know what to watch for. One of the most frequent mistakes is leaning forward. When fatigue sets in, the body often tries to escape tension by shifting weight into the toes. This reduces leg activation and places stress on the knees. Instead, keep your torso upright, imagining your back gently supported by an invisible wall. Another common issue is letting the knees collapse inward. This typically happens when the hips and outer leg muscles weaken under load. Focus on gently pressing your knees outward so they stay aligned with your toes. Holding the breath is another hidden problem. Many people unconsciously tense up and stop breathing when discomfort appears. This increases internal pressure and accelerates fatigue. Remember, steady breathing is part of the exercise. Finally, avoid going too low too soon. Depth is not the goal. Control is. A higher stance performed consistently is far more beneficial than a deep stance held briefly with poor alignment. Adopting the horse stance for your body. Every body over 50 carries a unique history, previous injuries, joint sensitivity, differences in mobility. The horse stance is remarkably adaptable when approached intelligently. If your knees feel uncomfortable, reduce the depth. Even a modest bend can activate the muscles effectively. If balance feels uncertain, practice near a wall, chair, or a sturdy surface. Light fingertip support can provide reassurance while your stability improves. If hip tightness limits your range, widen your stance less. Over time, flexibility often increases naturally. For those new to exercise entirely, begin with very short holds, even 10 to 15 seconds. Strength builds faster than many expect when consistency is maintained. Because progress is not measured by intensity, it is measured by continuity. What you may notice in the first few weeks, when practiced regularly, subtle changes often appear sooner than dramatic ones. These early signals are important. They indicate adaptation is underway. You may feel your legs fatigue more quickly at first. This is natural. Muscles are being challenged in a way they may not have experienced for years. Within days or weeks, many people report a stronger, more grounded feeling while standing, improved ease when rising from chairs, less stiffness in the hips, better postural awareness, a sense of physical steadiness. Some also notice improved circulation sensations, warmth in the legs, increased awareness of muscle engagement. These are not coincidences. They are your body responding to stimulus. Why stillness can be so powerful. After 50, modern fitness often glorifies speed, sweat, and exhaustion. Yet after 50, the body frequently benefits more from controlled, joint-friendly strength development. Stillness removes momentum. Without momentum, muscles must work continuously rather than intermittently. Stabilizers activate. Alignment becomes essential. The nervous system participates more deeply in the horse stance. Nothing is hidden by movement. Weaknesses reveal themselves gently. Strength develops evenly. Control replaces force. And perhaps most importantly, the risk of impact-related injury remains low. This makes the practice not only effective, but sustainable. Integrating the horse stance into daily life. One of the greatest advantages of this posture is how easily it fits into ordinary routines. You can hold it while waiting for the kettle to boil during television commercials before stepping into the shower. Beside your bed in the morning, on the patio, in fresh air. No preparation, ritual is required. No schedule rearranged, just small, repeatable moments of practice. 2 minutes a day is not a burden. It is an investment. Who should use extra caution. Although the horse stance is gentle compared to many exercises, certain individuals should proceed carefully. Those recovering from recent knee, hip, or spinal surgery, individuals with severe joint degeneration, people with uncontrolled cardiovascular conditions, anyone experiencing sharp or worsening pain. In such cases, consultation with a physician or physical therapist is strongly advised. Strength should never come at the cost of safety. A reminder about expectations. The horse stance is not a miracle cure. It will not reverse aging or eliminate every ache overnight. What it offers is something more realistic and more valuable. Gradual strengthening, improved stability, better muscular endurance, enhanced body awareness, a sustainable daily practice. Small improvements compound, especially when repeated consistently. And this is where many people discover an unexpected shift, not just in how their body feels, but in how they perceive their own capability. Here is part 3, rewritten. And this is where many people experience a shift they never anticipated. At first, the horse stance feels like a physical challenge. Your legs work, your muscles fatigue, your body adapts. But with repetition, something deeper begins to happen. You start noticing a change in your relationship with effort. Discomfort no longer feels like a stop sign. Fatigue becomes information, not fear. Stillness becomes strength, not inactivity. Holding the stance each day becomes a quiet promise you keep to yourself. No audience, no pressure, just you choosing to stay present inside a controlled challenge. That choice carries meaning. Because after 50, confidence is not built from chasing extremes. It grows from proving, again and again, that you are still capable of building strength, stability, and control. Not in theory, but in practice. The psychological power of showing up daily. Consistency does something extraordinary for the mind. Each time you step into the stance, you reinforce a simple identity. I am someone who invests in my health. This matters more than most people realize. Motivation fluctuates. Energy rises and falls. But identity-driven habits, small actions tied to who you believe you are, tend to endure. 2 minutes a day is small enough to avoid resistance, yet meaningful enough to create momentum. And momentum builds belief. Belief builds adherence. Adherence builds results. Why simple practices often outlast complex plans. Many fitness routines fail not because they are ineffective, but because they are unsustainable. Too long. Too demanding. Too disruptive to daily life. The horse stance succeeds by removing friction. No commute, no equipment, no complicated choreography, no dependence on perfect conditions. It meets you where you are, at home, at your current strength level, within your available time. And this simplicity increases the likelihood of long-term practice, which is where the real transformation occurs. Reframing aging and physical capability. There is a subtle but damaging belief many people absorb with age. I'm getting older, so decline is inevitable. While change is natural, deterioration is not always unavoidable. The body responds to stimulus at nearly every stage of life. Muscles strengthen. Balance improves. Stability returns, but only when challenged. The horse stance becomes a symbolic reversal of passive decline. You are not waiting for strength to fade. You are actively reinforcing it. A daily reset for the nervous system beyond muscles and joints. The stance offers something increasingly rare. A pause. 2 minutes of intentional stillness. 2 minutes of steady breathing. 2 minutes without distraction. In a world saturated with noise, urgency, and stimulation, this brief practice becomes a nervous system reset. Heart rate steadies, breathing slows. Mental chatter softens. Over time, many people find they leave the stance feeling clearer, calmer, more centered, grounded not only physically, but emotionally. How progress quietly reveals itself. Progress in the horse stance often arrives subtly. One day, you realize you held the position longer without strain, your legs shook less, your posture felt stronger, standing up felt easier, your balance felt steadier. No dramatic breakthrough, just unmistakable improvement. These are the most reliable forms of progress, the ones built slowly, almost invisibly, until they become undeniable, turning the horse stance into a lifelong tool. Unlike trend-based workouts, this posture does not expire. It does not rely on novelty or changing techniques. It remains available during busy periods, during travel, during recovery phases, during retirement, during seasons of low motivation. It scales with you. On strong days, you hold longer or sink deeper. On low energy days, you maintain a shorter, higher stance. Either way, you continue the conversation with your body. A gentle challenge with lasting rewards. Strength after 50 is not about intensity alone. It is about durability. Durability of muscles, durability of joints, durability of balance, durability of habits. The horse stance supports all four. Quietly, efficiently, reliably. Your invitation to begin. If you've been listening with curiosity, perhaps even a bit of skepticism, there is only one meaningful next step. Try it. Stand up. Find a comfortable space. Step your feet wide. Bend your knees gently. Hold for 20 to 30 seconds. No pressure to be perfect. No expectation to go low. Just experience it. Let your legs engage. Let your breath steady. Let your mind settle. Because understanding comes fastest through doing. A final thought. This isn't merely an exercise. It's a reminder. A reminder that strength can be rebuilt. That stability can be trained. That aging does not eliminate adaptation. That small daily actions remain profoundly powerful. 2 minutes. One stance. A lifetime of potential benefit. And if you decide to practice the horse stance, I'd love to hear from you. How did it feel the first time? How long could you comfortably hold? What changes have you begun to notice? Share your experience in the comments. Because your progress may be the encouragement someone else needs to begin.